Fathers, what moment changed your life forever? When I was 9, my dad promised that we'd always be a family. He said we'd stick together no matter what. 2 weeks later, I woke up in the middle of the night to find him loading his truck. I pretended to be asleep, but I heard every sound, every movement. He left, and I didn't even get to say goodbye. Mom told me he'd be back for my birthday, that he'd call me and make it right, but that day came, and I sat by the window, staring out for hours, waiting for his truck to pull down the street. It never did. For the next 3 years, he'd call once in a while, promising, "I'll come pick you up this weekend, buddy. We'll go do something fun." So I'd pack my bag, load it up with all my favorite comics and snacks, and wait. I waited for hours on the front porch, but he never showed. By the time I turned 13, I stopped packing. At 14, I stopped answering his calls. Mom worked 2 jobs. Our fridge was always empty, filled with nothing but old milk and ketchup packets. Sometimes late at night, I'd find her sitting at the kitchen table, her eyes red from crying, bills piled around her. I'd watch her look over the shut-off notices, the lights dimming in our house. It was hard to watch. So at 15, I started working. I lied about my age to get a job at a local diner, washing dishes for $5.25 an hour under the table. My hands were always wrinkled, always smelling like grease and old food. But it was money, and it was a way to help out. Then, on my 16th birthday, a fancy car pulled up in front of the house. Dad stepped out, dressed in a new suit, wearing an expensive watch and boots that looked like they'd never seen a day of hard work. "Surprise," he said with his arms wide open. He took me to dinner at some overpriced restaurant, talking nonstop about his new life, his new job, his new wife, and his new kids in Arizona. He slid a birthday card across the table. Inside was $200 and a note that said, "Sorry for missing so much." I stared at the money, numb, my mind running through everything Mom had gone through to keep us afloat. Her second job, the bills, the days we'd gone without. I thought about my hands, rough from working, and I couldn't help but feel a sharp sting in my chest. Dad smiled, oblivious to the thoughts swirling in my head. "I want to make it up to you," he said. "Why don't you come live with me? I've got a swimming pool, your own room. Everything's set up." I looked at the money again, folded it up, and slipped it in my pocket. "Can I think about it?" That night, I didn't say a word to him. I went home and gave Mom the $200. She didn't ask where it came from, but I saw the quiet tear in her eye when I handed it to her. That was the last time I heard from Dad for a long time. The promise he made to me when I was 9, the one that he swore we'd always be a family, was nothing more than words. Empty promises, but I never needed him to tell me what family was. I had Mom. And even though we were struggling, we were stronger than any empty promise he could have given me.